This is the ultimate nutrition guide for cyclists. Whether you've just started cycling and are wondering what the hell to do, or you're a seasoned racer, this video has something for you. Some topics we'll cover is hydration throughout the day and on the bike, sugar and whether it's really bad for you, and of course some personal tips that I've learned over the years of training. My name is Nicholas Hadar and I am an elite junior cyclist training for 6 watt per kilo FTP. I've been training for over 4 years, and up until about a year ago, I never focused on nutrition. It was only when I realized I had some potential with cycling that I really started to focus on what I was putting in my body. Focusing on nutrition does not have to be hard. I see a lot of cyclists ignore nutrition simply because it's too much work. I promise you the changes you make to your diet will greatly impact your cycling performance. And as always, it is okay to not be perfect. God knows I am not. It's just about doing better consistently. I'll start with nutrition on the bike. As you may know, it is suggested that amateur cyclists consume somewhere between 60 and 100 grams of carbs per hour, depending on length and intensity of the workout. This is quite a big range, so it comes down to personal preference. You want to try out different carbs amount and what works for you. For me, I like to go on the lower side for more zone 2 and on the higher side for intensity, as you burn less calories doing zone 2 and more with intensity. You can consume these carbs in any form, but typically it's sugar. I like to have 60 grams of carbs in my bottles and then 20 to 30 grams of a bar every hour. I typically save gels for racing as they're too expensive for me to use on a daily basis. Side note, my favorite gel is Tutti Frutti from SIS. Literally tastes like gummy bears. You'll thank me later. I have a hard time not eating them just throughout my day. One thing you want to avoid is consuming high amounts of protein directly before or during your workout. Protein takes a long time for the gut to absorb and for your body to process, so you want to save it for a couple hours before your workout and directly after your workout. You should also try and consume between 20 and 40 ounces of water per hour of exercise. Kind of like carb intake, this varies widely between intensity and temperature of your training, so just listen to your body and make sure you drink even though you might not be thirsty. Especially if your bottles have your carbs in it, you want to make sure you're drinking so you're also hitting that carb intake value. As far as hydration off the bike, just make sure you're drinking throughout your day. One good indicator for whether you're hydrated enough is if your urine is mostly clear. This picture from British Cycling shows what different urine colors mean. Electrolytes are another key for cycling nutrition. You want to be consuming electrolytes alongside your carbohydrates while you're exercising, especially if it's hot and you're sweating. Even in the winter, when I'm on the indoor trainer and might not be sweating as much, I still have electrolytes in my bottles. Let's move on to pre-ride nutrition. You'll want to be eating your last meal 2 to 3 hours before your ride. This ensures optimal digestion. Now, if you get hungry between your last meal and your ride, have a small carb-heavy snack that the body can quickly digest. Starting a ride hungry is just about the worst nutrition you can make. Take it from me in personal experience, it sucks. Increasing your heart rate and perceived exertion. On the flip side, eating too much before your ride can upset your gut as well. As with most nutrition, it comes down to personal experience and preference. I like to try new things at smaller races where the stakes are less. That way, if I make a mistake with something I'm trying just for the first time, it's not that big of a deal. Let's move on to off-the-bike nutrition. Post-workout, the first thing you want to do is consume carbohydrates and proteins to repair the muscles that you just tore. You want to consume these carbohydrates and proteins in a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio. Other than your 3 main meals, your snacks throughout the day should be balanced. You want to include proteins, fats, and carbs in those. The overall key is to just not be hungry. If you're hungry, that is your body telling you that you need more food. Even if you think you already hit your calories for the day, you should not keep yourself hungry. As a cyclist, it is super important to have the most energy possible. Even if you think you need to lose weight, you need to prioritize how you feel and your health first. One big argument that I come into a lot is sugar consumption. Is there a difference between refined and processed sugars? Should you avoid all sugars? Is sugar even bad for you? A lot of people think the body treats refined sugars and natural sugars differently. Refined sugar is something you might find in gummy bears, whereas natural sugars you'll find in your fruits. This, however, is not true. According to Harvard Health, added sugars can come from different sources, but they are metabolized by the body in the same way. A common misconception is that some sugars, like high fructose corn syrup, are unhealthy, whereas other natural sugars that come from fruits per se are healthy. The reality is that most sugars are made up of glucose and fructose in varying ratios. For example, sucrose, common table sugar, is a 50% glucose to fructose ratio. The most common form of high fructose corn syrup has a 45% glucose to 55% fructose. And there are even some types of agave nectar that have up to 90% fructose. Whether an added sugar has more or less glucose to fructose, and depending on the ratio, really has no effect on your health. This boils down to the fact that some more natural sugars like fruits and honeys will have macronutrients alongside them. So overall, it doesn't really matter where you get your sugar from. However, like I said, sugar from more natural sources tends to have more nutrients and fibers that are good for you. Because of this, it is favorable to eat lots of fruits to get both benefits. As long as you're getting your recommended amount of macronutrients and fiber, it is okay to have whatever sugar you want. I will have a link in the description so you can find out more about your personal nutrition needs. In the end, sugar is a carbohydrate and you need carbohydrates to function, especially as a cyclist. Sugar is like the #1 fuel for us. There is no point in vilifying processed sugars and avoiding them. Let's move on to calorie tracking and macronutrients. Should you track your calories? If you want to and have the ability, go right ahead, but it is by no means at all necessary. It is, however, important to have a basic understanding of your caloric breakdown. I will link in the description a good resource for you so you can find your personal caloric needs. One important marker to hit, for example, your protein, you want to consume between 0.6 and 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. Lastly, I briefly want to touch on the subject of supplements. Supplements are the biggest unregulated industry, worth over $1 billion. You will find a lot of people trying to sell you their supplements where they claim they do some magic thing for you. Trust me, there is no supplement that will naturally increase your FTP. I've already tried looking for it. 99% of them are just trying to make a buck off you. Unless you have a specific deficit in something, you really don't need supplements. You can get all your nutrients naturally. I would consult a doctor and get some blood work done if you're worried that you do have a deficit in a certain nutrient. I hope you found these tips and insights useful for improving your performance on the bike. Remember, nutrition is a crucial component of your training regimen, and making small, consistent changes will lead to significant improvement. However, before we go, I have something special to share with you guys. The holiday season is coming up and there is no better time to gear up with the best cycling apparel out there. You can check it out at spinandstyle.com. This is my own brand that I've started. I make all the designs myself. Right now, I have a 20% store-wide sale going on if you use code Christmas at checkout. So check it out. We have so many cool designs for you to choose from. With Spin and Style, after making the designs, I handpick high quality manufacturers that I know will deliver on our promise of high quality. We have a free refund policy if you are not happy. Don't miss out this chance to elevate your cycling style. Trust me, you will be dripped out in this stuff. Your friends will ask you where you got it and you'll be able to tell them spinandstyle.com. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you liked it, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and it really helps these videos spread around to more viewers. Have a fantastic holiday season, and as always, happy training.